Okay, guys, this is probably the best patch I've ever seen in my entire life in the last 5 years, I would say. If you're asking me personally speaking, whatever you're struggling with now, you will get better at it. People who just can't, this is what I don't understand is that defending is so simple, but I don't understand why no one wants to learn the basics. And I think everyone that's learned the basics of defending, especially a part of my Patreon, if you follow my videos for a very long time, you should be flying through. This is the perfect thing they've done. I think, especially, you could argue this is an extreme. Do an extreme like this and then taper in. So I know there's certain things that are going to be overpowered, right? So I know like the jockey playstyle. Thankfully, I always go with high sprint speed, defensive awareness. I don't go with any garbage like Hierro with 80 sprint speed or like some crap with 75 sprint speed. I'm not using that garbage. I use what's meta, whether people don't notice the meta yet or whatever. But so a lot of those people were able to adapt if you had the right players in shape. But it's always better to do an extreme in a patch and then tone it down. That is my opinion. Um, it's even sometimes when I'm doing videos, I sometimes, you may have noticed in the last few years or so, I try to, for example, be a bit more strong in my opinions. It's because when I used to say things before that was the meta, people wouldn't listen to me. They would just laugh at me. But now when I say it strongly and maybe I get less liked for saying it that way, people actually start to believe it and they start doing it, and then they realize after. So then I can always tone down my demeanor. Just all for, it's most of the time it's all an act for teaching. 'Cause at the end of the day, my job is to teach. It's not to be someone's best friend. It's to teach the best way as possible. And I prefer the no BS style, just because there's a lot of nonsense and misinformation in the community. I feel like it's my job to sweep that all under the rug and tell you the facts, whether people like it or not. But it's at the end of the day, it's my important. In my head, if someone improves, that's the most important thing for me. But this patch is a really good step. If you're struggling with a fan now, just give it some time. You will get used to it. There's going to be some overpowered things like L1 triangle is going to be overpowered. There's going to be multiple players running in the same lines. I'll go over that another time, but you'll see that speed boosts are going to be very overpowered. But the obvious thing to do now is just get pacey players. If you're part of the Patreon, you would have had these players anyway. And I've uploaded 4 videos if you are part of the Patreon series. We went over Nicholas's game analysis, and we're going to go over some post-patch gameplay as well. But I just want to say for everyone else, give it time, focus on the basics. Okay, you can still defend and run around with your CDMs. They haven't nerfed defending into the ground. You can still defend with your CDMs. If anything, I want them to nerf running around with CDMs, and I want them to, for example, get rid of the AI tracking like that. And I don't want them to have auto tackling in the game. That's what I want, but I know that's not realistic. Although that's kind of the niche personal thing that I want, I know for the masses is not the right thing to do. But this is a good medium, to be honest. I think they're probably going to tune some stuff. Like, let's say if I was to do this and I was a dev, I'll see what the masses say. Then I'll probably reduce some things. Like, I think shooting from some really wide angles are a bit too overpowered. Some speed boosts are a bit too overpowered. Maybe attackers are getting a bit too far away. Maybe there should be a halfway medium point in how they get away. That way to make a bit more players more viable. That's what I would say, personally speaking. And there's a few other things like, the through ball assistance. People will find these out, not now, but they'll find them out. Give it a week or so. But anyone that understands the game will probably notice these things. There's other things as well. But perfect. Give it some time. Practice. I've got videos on my defending channel. You can literally watch defending video from FIFA 19. I teach the same way to defend for the past, I don't know, 7 years I've been doing this. 6, 7 years I've been doing this. So make sure you check those out. Fix your defending. I promise you'll only concede 2 or 3 goals. Once you get better, you'll fly through. Peace, guys.